Hey guys, it's Julia and welcome back to my channel, and for today's video I'm going to be doing a book review, and today I'm going to be reviewing something really exciting, and that is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. This book had just come out today, which I believe I'm posting this on the day of the release, and I was so pumped for this because I do really enjoy Colleen Hoover's books, though the last two books I've read by her have been my least favorite. I was a little bit skeptical going into this one. I usually don't go into her books knowing anything really, but I will share a brief synopsis for those who are interested. So basically this book is about Lily, and we start off, like, she's our main female lead, and we start off with her after she's just buried her father. This book takes place in Boston. It's about her, you know, making a name for herself, growing up, meeting a guy. That's kind of how this goes, and it's about her family life a little bit. And this book does have trigger warnings for abuse, so keep that in mind before picking this book up. I was not expecting it, but it is definitely present, so it's there. Be aware. I did really enjoy It Ends With Us, but when we first met, basically the guy she meets is a neurosurgeon. So I'm like, okay, and they meet on top of a building. And she's just chilling up there, and then he just comes and he's kicking some chair because he's mad about his operation thing that he did, and that's how they first meet. But just something about him reminds me of the main character from November 9, and it's just like all that like sexual humor, and I'm like, I don't like that. And just some of the things he said, I was like, stop it. But Lily actually loves gardening, which is a really good hobby to have. I really liked seeing a main character that had that hobby. I think it's really different from some of the hobbies that we do see in novels. Like, we see reading, music, and art all the damn time. So it's really nice to see a character who likes gardening. It was really nice. And basically, like I said, I didn't really like the male character that much. Sometimes I did like him, but he's kind of that basic, arrogant, bad boy kind of guy, and I couldn't believe that he was a neurosurgeon just because by the way he acted and everything else. I don't know, I just didn't buy it, to be honest. But I like Lily. I think she handles situations like most people would, and I feel like she went for what she wanted, and I feel like she was a good lead to follow. Another aspect of this book is, of course, there's something extra, and that is basically she's back and forth, and Lily starts reading her diary entries, and it goes into like italics, but she starts reading her old diary entries of her when she lived back home and when she lived in Maine, and these diary entries are kind of just like about her growing up, and she was living in Maine, and it's just about her first boyfriend, her first love, the first time she had sex, things like that. And we meet this guy, and his name's Atlas, and he's homeless, and she takes him in, and she's just really sweet to him, and he's really sweet back. And I'm like, I loved this guy. Like, I liked him better. Like, I liked reading about her past better than what was going on now, and I just really liked that guy. I thought he was so great, and he like, they brought out, their situations were horrible, but they brought out like the best in each other in that way, and it was just so adorable. So I liked reading about her past more than her present, which is kind of funny. But so that's that. And oh, I hated her parents, both of them, which is kind of weird to say because one of them's dead. But in the book, I hated both her parents. I just wanted them to leave, you know. The writing style, I did like the writing style. Again, the sexual humor kind of pissed me off a little. It was mostly towards the beginning when they first met, then later, but there was also but I did love that she incorporated these diary entries, and it kind of like there's the thing with Ellen in it, Ellen DeGeneres, and it's just so cute because she loved watching it so much. So it was just, I don't know, she writes to Ellen instead of like Dear Diary, she writes to Ellen. It's cute, and I just thought it was such a nice touch. Oh, this was incredibly funny actually, despite dealing with this really tough subject matter of abuse along in this book. I thought the black and the white really complemented each other, and I thought just the comic reliefs really made this book less dense and more enjoyable, I guess. There's definitely some really harsh moments, and I felt a lot of emotions. Like, I felt sad at times, I felt happy at times, I was laughing at times. Like, I usually don't laugh while I read, and her books always remind me why I love to read so much, which sounds really just like, what the hell, but no, they just remind me why I love to read so much, and it brings out all my emotions, her books. So I will continue to pick up her books forever, really. And the one thing with this one though is usually I love her characters more than anything. That's what usually sells me. Like in contemporary novels like these, you gotta love the characters, because like if you don't, what are you there for? And like you're there for like the plot and stuff, but if you hate the character, oh dear. But as good as they usually are. I thought Lily was a good character. The guy was horrible. Like, I just didn't connect with them all like I usually do. Like usually, like they're all my buddies. Like I just love them all. But this one, I didn't love them all that much. So that was one of my flaws with this. Also, just some things that happened near the end, which I won't say because this is non-spoilery. I just had some issues, and you know, Colleen Hoover always has her twist, and it just wasn't much of a twist. I was kind of like, oh, okay, and then just kept reading. Like, it wasn't mind-blowingly, you know, like incredible twist that I didn't see or whatever. It was still a good book though, so yeah. I really appreciate Colleen Hoover writing something like this, dealing with this subject matter. I think it's very important for no matter what gender, no matter what age, if you date, you don't date, I don't know. It's important to read books like this, and yeah, so I really applaud Colleen Hoover for putting a topic like this in her book. How I enjoyed it compared to her other novels, since I've read all of them except for the Never Never parts. I would say, well, I did an author spotlight video on her, so if you're curious to where I stand with all of her books, for me this was like the middle mark for me, so it's not as good for me as like Ugly Love and Hopeless and Confess. It's more in the middle with Slammed, and maybe Someday, and then near the bottom is November 9 for me. But this is it was darker than I thought, but it was still light. Again, like I said with the comic relief, but it's almost as dark as Hopeless. Like, it's up there, and it was really enjoyable though, so I would suggest it, and I gave this book a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Hope you guys enjoyed my review. Let me know what you thought of it down below. I know it just came out, so you probably may have not read it yet unless you got an ARC, and I didn't get an ARC. I wish. No. They put it on my books really early, so I managed to grab it, and I read it in a day, and it was really enjoyable. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon with a new video. Bye!